At Minds and Money in London, I'm with Sir Richard Shirreff, ex-NATO Deputy Chief and now co-founder and partner at Strategia Worldwide. So Richard, you talked earlier about de-risking corporate risk management for mining companies. Can you go over some key points from that?
Yes, I mean the approach that I talked about is really looking at the challenges strategically, drawing analogies with putting together a military campaign, which is my previous background.
Right.
And applying a comprehensive approach to managing risk. And that means really thinking through and understanding the relationships between risk. Because if you do something on the technical side or the engineering side, it's going to have a knock-on effect of second and third order impacts. And I think you need to really, to de-risk, you need to look at risk comprehensively and understand how best to put together strategies to manage it.
Right, so what are some common mistakes that companies make that you've seen in your experiences?
Well, I haven't been at this very long, but I'm really surprised by the extent to which a number of mining companies particularly have been led technically, have driven ahead on a mining project without really thinking through the impact on the people they're operating amongst. And therefore, if you create social risk and environmental risk, you're going to create political risk, and that undermines the license to operate. And long term, that could have a major impact on your share price and on your productivity. The military have faced some pretty major challenges, and the Canadian military is no different. In the last decade plus, in Afghanistan particularly, in the Balkans, and for some in Iraq. And what we've learned is there's no such thing as a single military solution. You have to build bridges with multiple stakeholders. You have to work alongside reconstruction agencies, development agencies, NGOs, international organizations. You have to understand what is it that among your stakeholders that is going to open up the gateway, as it were, on the path of strategy and not close it. So it's all about influence and thinking through things in strategic terms. And I think the military have had to learn some pretty tough lessons like this. And I think these lessons are just as relevant in the business space.
Now you're also the author of 2017 War with Russia. Can we talk about that?
We can.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a wake-up call. This is moving out of my immediate space of the risk. Well, it's part of risk, but this is, I think, the major geopolitical risk the West and indeed NATO faces, because we've seen a resurgent Russia. We've seen a dynamic started by President Putin's invasion of Crimea, which could, unless we manage things very carefully and are able to mount an effective deterrent posture in NATO, could lead to a clash with NATO over the Baltic states in particular. And that's really, really concerning, because it means war, and that is the last thing we need. We've had peace in the West, peace in Western Europe, peace in NATO, broadly speaking, for 70 years. Now we want to continue that, and we have to understand that peace needs to be worked for, and ultimately it needs to be paid for as well.
Very good. Now lastly, I want to touch upon Strategia Worldwide. So what exactly is the business, and what is your operations in the UK, in Canada, etc.?
Well, we launched in February, and we are applying, as I say, we apply a comprehensive approach to the management of risk. We bring together significant expertise, not only from ex-military, diplomatic, political, humanitarian, reconstruction, financial, and mining indeed. We assist companies. The bottom line is it's about assisting companies finding opportunities to build prosperity, because opportunity is the flip side of risk. We've had clients in West Africa, we've had clients in Kazakhstan, and indeed we've been operating with a Canadian client, and I shall be reporting back to the board in Toronto in a couple of weeks' time.
Right. Opportunity is the flip side of risk. Thank you so much, Richard.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you. Thanks.
At Minds and Money in London, I'm Rachel Lee for SmallCapPower.